Hello guys, welcome to the channel. It's Rad, and tonight's live stream is about my favorite, which is what do we need to know in this given moment, or what should be aware of. And when I check it out, we haven't done that particular live stream in over a month, which is kind of strange considering that it is my favorite. Uh, just give me a second here. I gotta check something out. Okay. And with that said, as per usual, the cards for the collective reading, which is going to affect all of us, are on the thumbnail if you had paid attention. But for those who jump right into it and you do not recognize, of course, that particular deck. Hello, News Devon, Aqua, any other be. Hello, guys, girls, more specifically. Welcome to the stream. So the cards are as follow. Now, the first one, that will be the Five of Pentacles. Followed by the Moon card. And the third one, that is going to be the Five of Cups. I was actually genuinely surprised, very pleasantly surprised when I saw those cards. Now, their interpretation or their influence, it's a bit hard to explain, and it leads to a good end of the roads, for lack of better expression. So this is how the elemental dignity kind of stands. And we do have a double supportive, passive supportive, that is, elemental dignity, and it is all about how we live. Not just in the general sense of the word, but as well how we do things, how we do our job, how we do, our schedule, how we make love, for example, or perform our relationships, and all these kind of things, things that are making our existence being called a life. Taco, thank you for the 22 US dollars super chat, and as well Yasmin, thank you for the $22 PayPal support. You guys are gonna have your personalized reading at the end of the stream on a topic. What's going on? Well, that's kind of strange. What in the world? Hold on a second. Right. On the topic, what do you need to know right now? News Devon as well. Thank you for the £5. Thank you, guys. You also are going to have your personalized reading at the end of the stream. Blessings to you too, Taco. So I was about explaining the Liz, thank you for the $20 US as well. Thank you. At the end of the stream, you will have your personalized reading as well. Let me put you into the list. Hey, Shanna. Welcome to the stream. Right, so it will affect everything that makes our existing being called having a life, and more particularly the problematic aspects of it. Okay, the things we have problem with in say in our work, say in our job, say in our marriage, for those blessed that have it, of course. Say in our social performance as well. And again, remember that is about performance. So bottom line is that, or the process we're going to go through is reforming. And all of us, to a certain extent, because some needs a better, bigger reforming than others, we are going to start reforming the performance itself, so we don't create or encounter any problems in our love life, in our career, okay, in our social status as well. Now, these reforms are going to be, of course, different for every single one of us, but at the end, what we are going to reach as a point, it's a much more, how do I put it into words, secure. Okay, so much more secure existence, much more secure position, much more secure standing. And something else is going to happen throughout the process as well. And it's going to affect our recent choices that we made, whether we made a choice to stay or go, whether we made a choice to connect with an old loved one, for example, whether we make choice to sign up a contract or not to sign a contract, whatever the case, right? Through that process of reforming our lifestyles, we are gonna be reassured, or we are gonna reach to a certain confirmation that those choices were indeed right, no matter the circumstances currently. Okay, they are right for the right reasons. And although some of the experiences that we're going to have throughout those, throughout the consequences of those choices may be a bit unpleasant, that is not going to be a prerequisite to doubt that we actually made the right choices, because the future will look much brighter based on those choices, because all we are going to see, should we experience a feeling of loss, I'm sorry, not lost, but a loss, or a feeling of disappointment, these are just a temporary disappointments and partial losses, which can be regained in the future. And what is also, how can I put it into words, is going to be normal throughout these couple of weeks, not couple of weeks, but throughout the next few days as well, is that we may feel a bit tender in terms of emotions. Our emotions could be a mix, right? Like I don't know, roller coaster, for example. And that is, just so you know, a completely normal for the manifestation of these cards. Is going to affect all of us. Even the strongest poker faces are going to feel shifts in their emotions. Jasmine, thank you for the $20 super chat support. Thank you, Jasmine. At the end of the stream, you also are going to have your personalized reading for the topic, which is what do you need to know right now. I'll put you into the list. Right. All right, so with that said, a few notes about the show before I move forward. Now, bear in mind, these are readings for your star sign, right? And as they will affect you to a certain extent, they're not your personal reading. Therefore, they may not contain the, or even is going to be seldom if they do, but they are not going to contain the exact answer to your question. So consider them as a reading of guidance rather than reading of exact answer. If you do want a personal reading though, where your personal situations and experience are going to be read for, you can always go to my website, which link you're going to find in the description down below. And there at the very front page, you can see a full list of my services and as well their pricing. Another way to have a reading is to support the channel through Super Chat or through PayPal, which link as well you're going to find in the description down below. And at the end of the stream, every Patreon is going to have their reading should there is no inquiry with the super chat or the PayPal support. The reading is going to be about the topic of the stream, and today the topic is what do you need to know as of this moment. And should your support is $20 or above, the reading is going to be the same format that I'm doing for the star signs as well. And speaking of the star signs, there are going to be 12 readings, one for each star sign. I'm going to start from Aries, and of course I'm going to end up with a Pisces. And the first one that's I'm gonna move for, that will be Aries. You can track which star sign I'm reading for by observing the glyph on my right hand side there. Hello, Jasmine. I believe long time no see. I hope that you are keeping yourself with busy with nice things to do, rather than having to solve any problems. That's going to be a sad thing, or rather unpleasant. I don't want to see any of you guys encountering major problems. Right, 7 of Cups, Ace of Wands, and we do have the 2 of Pentacles. Yeah. Your reforms are actually going to be, what I put into words, a way you process things, more like in the department of credit, for a lack of better expression. What I mean is that you are going to start being more what is the word? Not exactly vigilant. More like, let's say, calculative. So what happens in the next few days, according to these cards, is that you are going to start seeing opportunities for what they truly are. And for example, how much you can go for with them, whether love opportunities or business opportunities, whatever the case. And this will allow you actually not to shoot yourself in the foot. And that is particularly one of the things that you need to know right now, that in the next few days, even if you have to go through a certain failure, that failure ain't gonna be anything more but a disappointment. There is not going to be, at least according to these cards, any material or emotional loss other than a disappointment. And through those, like I said, reforms, what is going to happen here is that you are going to start becoming more emancipated. Therefore, you will be able to use more and more from your environment for, you know, towards your advantage. And towards your advantage it is where unaccomplishable aspects or unaccomplishable goals are going to start becoming more and more within your reach. It's a nice transition that you are going to go through. Hello, Jen. Well, that's all right. I hope you enjoy the forecast. Right, so next that will be Taurus. Four of Cups. Nine of Cups. Three of Wands. those three cards. And my astrology knowledge sucks. Okay, it literally, it's very close to the rock bottom. But I'm pretty sure that what those cards are showing kind of like contradicts Taurus as a general sense. Okay, because what we do have and what you need to know right now, according to these cards, is that you can be happy more in a, how can I put it into words? Let's say for now in a different place. So what will happen in the next few days is that you're gonna start kind of like feeling a hunger. Now you may not act on it, but you are gonna start feeling it, that you kind of need something different. You kind of need something more, right? You kind of need something more out of your marriage, or more out of your career, or more out of, I don't know, your social interactions, or more out of your health, whatever the case. But the thing is that imagine it that way, that you have labored but thus far, right? And your labor is producing certain fruits. Well, those fruits, you're kind of gonna find yourself being accustomed to them, kind of like annoyed. They don't give you the same pleasure. When for example, kiwi, you can eat a lot of kiwi, right? And that taste, that kind of like sour sweet taste of the kiwi, it's amazing at the start, but the more you eat, the more repulsive it becomes, to a point where if you eat a lot, you don't want to see kiwi for a very, very long time. But it comes a moment when you go through the market, you look at the kiwis, and you're saying to yourself, damn, I really, really want that kiwi, right? So the point here is that you are at that stage where it kind of becomes a bit numb, the sensation of the fruits of your labor, and you're going to feel that in the next few days, and therefore your eyes and your mind, above everything else, is going to start looking for something different. It doesn't have to be even new, it's just something different. And it's highly advisable that you do strive into that particular direction. According to these cards, you can find yourself being very, very, very happy. Okay, because whatever direction you choose, or your mind bestows upon you, reaching it is going to be a piece of cake. Holding it is going to be a bit more difficult job, but you will have what it takes to do so. Yarabi, thank you for the 20 US dollar support. Thank you, Yarabi. Oh, what do you need to know about the man you're really into? All right, so we are gonna dig out a secret. Right, is there? We're gonna check that at the end of the stream. All right, next star sign, Gemini. Okay. Well, I hope you are prepared, because the secret is going to be, all right? Ten of Cups. Then we do have the World. And it is the Six of Cups. It's pretty easy expression here. It's pretty easy transfer interpretation. You're done, right? You are pretty much done in the good sense, right? Not like done you end, right? And for example, your job ends, or your marriage ends, or anything like that. You are done in a sense of that you did what was asked, for a lack of better expression. You reached a destination. These cards are showing that whatever you are sitting on right now, whether a relationship, whether a job, whether a marriage, you can end up being very fulfilled and very, very happy in there. And another thing, and that is probably the bigger, let's say, universal secret of what you need to know, it is that if you do have any issues and problems right now, and I do apologize if that's, you do not agree with that, but according to these cards, self-induced, literally self-induced, whether through stubbornness, whether through indomitable opinion, right, whether through ignorance as well. According to these cards, you do have everything at your disposal to make yourself feel home, to make yourself feel very accomplished, and as well very happy. And that is literally what these cards are showing here. And they do have even a stronger meaning for those of you who just don't know when to stop. Just don't know when to stop. And I will give you a very recent, well, not that recent, it was about maybe 3 or 4 months ago, but I do have a very big friend, which is Gemini, and she just didn't know when to stop. It is always on the move. It is always doing something, right? And she broke her leg so bad that, it may take years to recover. And now she has to sit at home. She can't do much. And that isn't an example, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with you, but what I am saying is that sometimes, if you're looking for it, it's going to find you. Doesn't matter if it is good or bad, okay? And it seems that because everybody is looking for good, and you are doing so as well, I hope, you are about to find it. That is what you need to know, so enjoy it. Okay, put a brakes for just a little while. All right, next, that will be Cancer. Three of Swords. Six of Cups. Nine of Cups. Now I will need kind of minutes, maybe. That's a tough one. It's linked with the past. There is no question about it. It's linked with the past, past screw-ups because of a personal convenience. And that same situation is going to kind of like, not exactly the same. It may not be, kind of like one-on-one the same situation. But the very least is going to be a very similar one. No, I do apologize. Very, very similar one. You'll have to go through, okay? And while in the past, it could be a year ago, 20 years ago, whatever the case, you are going to evoke, I'm sorry, that particular memory when the things are start happening. But back then it was a screw up because according to these cards, you have decided to go the convenient way for yourself, that is. And things, even if they ended up good, they didn't end up perfect. So now you may face the fear of kind of like repeating the whole thing again and failing again and all these kind of things. Now imagine that particular example, screw up with a person you love 15 years ago, and that person is kind of like again in town and wants to go on a date with you, or grab a cup of coffee or have a dinner or whatever the case. And you do so, and you see that you do still have a crush, you do still have a fall for the guy or the woman, right? And these memories that everything kind of like went down in flames starts to infiltrate your mind again, twist and tangle it. Very important not to give way to them, right? Very, very important to remember that was 15 years ago. Okay, and now you are a different person. You learned your lessons. You have more experience. You have different means, different resources. Use them. Okay, don't just kind of like surrender before the battle even started. And that is what you need to know. It's a battle, well, in the figurative sense of the word, which is worth fighting in or being a part of. That it is going forward. All right, so next, that will be Leo. Nine of Pentacles, King of Wands, Nine of Wands. Well, it may sound not exactly pleasant, but it is pleasant. So it seems that they may not be that recent, but I will use the term recent. So according to these cards, it seems that your recent actions or recent decisions has locked you up into something. And that's something, and I will quote here one of the interpretation of the Nine of Pentacles, that something is a huge leap into a development, huge leap into a love development, into a friendship development, into a career development. Although that leap, it's kind of like happening on its own pace. That's why we do have a neutral elemental dignities here. And the only unpleasant experience in the next few days that you may have, Leo, is you just can't rush things. I mean, they're happening on their own accord, or when the time is nigh or right, and whatnot. And you just can go along with it, which, by the way, you are gonna do very, very well, because according to these cards, you did all the necessary arrangements and preparations as well. And also, can I put it into words? You do have as well the necessary strive and ambition, and while that is a good thing, it could also kind of like burn you out. So use it with a proper measure, according to or reciprocal rather to what you are dealing with in front of you. And don't dwell too much into kind of like indulging yourself with not happy but party things, like for example alcohol, substances, and all these kind of things. It's good to have fun, and you definitely should have some, a legal one, of course, but doing it around the clock, it's gonna be very, can I put it into words here, unhealthy for that leap into development of yours. So you're about to have a huge explosion here, in a good sense, a trampoline, something that is going to trampoline you into the sky, into the cloud nine. Use it. All right, next, that will be Virgo. Seven of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles. Oh, only one sentence. What do you need to know is that what you are doing, it's worth it. All right, that is literally what we have here. Whatever you are investing into right now, you may be investing emotions into someone, or you may be investing money into something, or you may be investing your time as well. You know, whatever you are investing into from yourself, that is, it's worth it, right? And that is literally what these cards has to say. So it's a good thing, because you may have a kind of like, you know, doubts. Am I gonna be good into what I am doing, for example, you know, or am I gonna be happy in this social circle that I'm investing into? So yeah, I mean, according to these cards, at least in the near future, you are going to be, of course, things are changing, but for now, it's worth investing. Well, your investments are worth it. And that is literally what you need to know. All right, next. That is Libra. The Wheel of Fortune. Six of Pentacles. Ten of Swords. Wow. Things are gonna get a little bit out of hand in a way of executing things for you. Okay. Let me take a sip here. So in the next few days, according to these cards, if they are to be believed, you may feel yourself a little bit pressed with your back against the wall, that you will have to kind of like make some important choices. I'm glad to hear that, Jen. So again, having to make certain choices, and the only fact that is going to make it difficult for you to make those choices, although I was dating Libra back in the days, and the only thing I know about Libra from a personal experience, although that may not be necessarily true, particularly for the star sign, because, you know, charts are way more complicated than just where your sun is, but that particular girl, very difficult to make a choice. It's kind of like weighing every single detail, you know, taking our time with all these things, which is a good thing. All right, it's a good thing to kind of like weigh your options, all of your options, and as well the quirks that these options are carrying. But according to these cards, you are not gonna have in the next few days the luxury of time, because not because you are going to be physically pressed or anything with certain deadline or an ultimatum, right? Because if the Ten of Swords was first, then that's an ultimatum. It's kind of like you take it or leave it. Now it is just a closing window. And that window may show up later into the future, but it's going to be really good if you kind of take that window now. And what you need to know are a couple of things. That these are a one-time calls. What I mean is that you cannot revoke it afterwards, at least for the next, let's say, 6 months to 1 year, because that is usually the valid time for a tarot reading. You take the job, you're stuck with it for 6 months or 1 year. You say no, you ain't gonna have that chance for 6 months or a 1 year as well. You know, you enter into that relationship, same thing. You are stuck with it and whatnot. According to these cards, all of these opportunities are worth it, and some, or at very least one of them, is gonna make a once in a lifetime change for you that is gonna end up being like stumbling upon a gold mine. So I hope that you do make up your mind well enough, or rather fast enough, because having the Wheel of Fortune as a main card, I mean, you gotta kind of like be very talented into screwing things around to screw that one around. But it's definitely, the pace is gonna be out of the charts, at least for you. Right, so that was for Libra. Next, that will be Scorpio. Seven of Wands. The Strength. That's good. The Star. Yeah, I was worried for a second, because Seven of Swords is not particularly pleasant card, especially if it does end up next to an Earth and War card. You know, Seven of Wands, terrible when it ends up next to a Cup card. Not very pleasant when it ends up next to a Pentacle, but when it ends up next to an Air, and especially particularly the Star card. Do you know what this means, guys? It is your time. I mean, you are at the right place at the right time. And literally there are no issues, problems, or limitations that are to obstruct you, to obstruct us. Excuse me, I showed you this trend here. Seven of Wands and the Star card. That is their meaning in combination, literally. And now the future, the way you see it, the way you imagine it, the way you put your standards and ideals in, possible, all of it. Although you gotta be patient. That comes along with the Star card itself. It's something that unfolds. For some it unfolds in a normal pace. For others it unfolds slowly, but it doesn't happen overnight. So you gotta be very, very patient, which is also engraved within the Seven of Wands as well, where you gotta have the how can I put it into words, the resilience to withstand the temptation to act now, because it needs to be at the proper time, in the proper place. You are in it right now for the current state of the situation, right? But situation evolves, so you gotta pick point and measure your actions accordingly. With the Strength, that is only being there to show that, you know, again, it supports the meaning that it is a climb. It's a long climb, but also what you need to know in these, with this card in relation to the rest, is that doesn't matter how long or how steep it is, that climb, when you reach the summit and you survey the vista all around you, which is the rewards, more than just worth it. Okay, more, you will be flabbergasted with those results. All right, next, Sagittarius. Hello, Pamela. Welcome to the stream. I read, I believe, you can classify it single. I read star by star, sign by sign. And there is as well a collective reading at the start also, which is just generalized, you know, to give a narrative rather than anything else. Four of Swords. Then it's the Three of Pentacles. The Hangman. The answer you seek, it's very near, but only the time will tell rather than the support around you, according to these cards, that is, or any support around you. Now these cards are a little bit, how can I put it the best way, how can I describe it? It's like skating on a thin ice, in a sense of, you know, seeking guidance and advice, because according to them, there is a person around you who can help you with whatever brainstorm you are tackling right now, whether that's a medical brainstorm, a medical issue, or a business issue, or a love issue, you know. But not everyone. However, there are a lot of people that wish to support you, and thus you may expect in the next few days to be overflooded with opinions. Everybody will try to kind of like not just only give, but as well enforce your opinion. Not your opinion, but their opinion on you. And the worst is when they see that kind of like you are not budging in, you're not caving on that opinion, they may start criticizing you, and you ain't gonna feel very, very well about it. However, according to these cards, there is someone which opinion is going to be very objective, therefore right. And the only thing that I can give you as a clue who that one is that someone who is a very loyal to you. It's a loyal, faithful companion of yours. Hello, Rocky. Welcome to the stream. But also, you will have the same success rate if you just wait it out, because with time, the whole thing, whatever you are brainstorming over, is going to start unraveling in a certain direction, and that direction is pretty much the decision that you will have to take. So that is what you need to know. Just don't act on the first thing you hear. Okay. Next, Capricorn. Thank you for the 28 Canadian, Rocky. Thank you. At the end of the stream, you will have your personalized reading of what you need to know right now. Ten of Swords. The Empress. The Knight of Cups. All right, so what you need to know is that you have to make up your mind right now. I mean, literally right freaking now. Because according to these cards, first of all, it's according to them at least, it's a time-sensitive matter, and you definitely don't want to suffer a loss, because you know, you make a sacrifice when you make a choice, right? You choose one thing over another. Say you choose that girl over this girl, or you choose that man over that man, or over this man, or you choose that job over this job. Loss is when that choice is made for you. One of these people walks away, so you lose them, or one of the job kind of like fall off the table, so you lose it, right? And that is what you are standing in front of, right? Kind of like you have to make a certain, say, sacrifice. You have to make up your mind and act accordingly, because no matter how much you wait, you can't be, you won't be able, at least according to these cards, to satisfy, for example, everyone, or to kind of like go through the process of your actions or decisions in a way that it will be painless for everybody, for example. So there will be some kind of say, tension, unpleasant experience that is going to be a consequence of that, but it's necessary if you do wish to have a new dawn in your life, because that's what it's at stake here. Okay, you want an improvement, you do want a refresh or a new dawn, like I said. Well, you gotta man it up and do what's necessary for it now. All right, next, Aquarius. Seven of Wands, Seven of Swords, Two of Swords. I mean, I don't know if that refers to me, okay, because I am rising Aquarius on top of Scorpio, but that correlates with me very, very, very well, right? So what we have here, it's for Aquarius, what Aquarius needs to know, it is that things are gonna go their way, or rather like solve themselves for them. And when I say solve, it could be as well problems, but it's more like it's going to be about say, dilemma, right? You do have, for example, few options available in front of you, and you don't know which one you should take. Every single one of them carries a risk, right? Or it is just inconvenient to decide that one or this one. Well, it seems that with enough kind of like dribbling the ball, the choice is gonna be kind of like will manifest itself on its own accord for you, Aquarius. And according to these cards, it just is gonna go your way. Another thing that you need to know is that you ain't gonna find a better time to demand your treatment, in a sense of that, for example, if you think that someone mistreats you, demand a proper treatment. If you think that someone owes you something, asks for it. Okay, it's time to collect. That is what you need to know. That is something that it is within those cards. And above everything else, guys, no matter what you do, yeah, no pressure for the cups. Exactly. Uh, yeah, to be. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's good that you're going to have a reading, because if you are Capricorn, according to these cards, if we take them literally to your situation, you got to make up your mind right now, right? Anyway, so I was about to say, what do you need to know at the end here, Aquarius, is that no matter how much you try to satisfy everyone, right, and make everyone's happy, there is always going to be someone who is displeased with you, and as well unhappy about what you do. So why don't you instead try to satisfy and make yourself happy? Just this once for a change, all right? Just this once for a change. All right. Last but not least, Pisces. Temperance. The Hangman. The King of Wands. What do you need to know? Pretty simple. It's time for an action. Okay, it's time not just only to do your part, but it's kind of like to find a reading to find a, yeah, I was just reading here Yarabi's message, and yeah, you are getting a reading, Yarabi. So it's time to find a path. That is the literal translation of these cards. You've waited long enough, things to kind of like shape off and settle in a certain way, and now it's time for you to carve a path through it. Carve a path through the success of your marriage, for example, or carve a path through the success of your career. The times are good because whatever goal, no one can find an argument to talk you out of it, for example. I do apologize. Or to disagree with you. Or, to stand on your path. Right now, it's free for all out there around you. And, you can take whatever you strive for as long as you do not interfere with anyone else's business. And thus no one is going to interfere with your business. Another thing, it is that I don't know how this thing helps you, but there is going to be a respect around you. I mean, people are going to respect your opinion. Now, that doesn't mean that they will agree with you. Okay, they may disagree with you all day long. They may have their own option available and whatnot, but doesn't make your option available or your option in general wrong. It's just anyone's guess. Like that's why I said it's a free for all out there. So carve your path. Don't allow anyone to cross it over, and you gotta do it without kind of like pumping up to the extreme, like extreme performance or laziness as well, because laziness is opposite of the other extreme. You gotta kind of like progress in an ordinary fashion. Right, so that was for Pisces. Now, the super chat. Just give me a minute, guys. All right, Yasmin. These are your cards. Okay. They will address your financial situation. So what you need to know it is that your financial situation is going to be taken care of according to the cards. It's not a charity, though. And the way that it can happen, it will be very bizarre and very peculiar. Definitely not a way you have expected. For example, and that is just a pure speculation, all right? You may end up finding a stash of cash somewhere in a leftover fund that you forgot about, or in some kind of interest that you also forgot about, or it's just, a fund, or rather like a cash flow that you are not using properly, and you are going to be guided and directed to use it properly. There is going to be another third party involved which has your best interest in mind, and that third party is going to just take care of your financial situation. Whether it is a troublesome or not, that is irrelevant. It is just your cash flow should improve. That is what you need to know. All right, now I don't know if that's relevant to your situation, but that is what these cards are saying. So what you need to know is that your cash issues, that your cash concerns, your financial concerns are gonna find a solution. It will not gonna be a one-time thing though. It will be like a strategy, right? It will be an ongoing, concurrent. Can I put it into words? A concurrent process, uh, like strategy, for example, that needs to be executed, but it should lead you out of again, financial problems, concerns, worries. All right, next, tackle feelings. Let's see, what do you need to know, mate? It's a weird reading, mate. Those are your cards. And what they say is that you wouldn't care about the truth. Like, let me give you an example. Say, and I don't know if you're going to go through it, it's less likely, it's very unlikely actually, because I know that you're married, but it is the first thing that just comes to my mind, right? Let's say that you are dating, okay? I know that you're married, but just let's say that you're dating and you're married. You're not having an affair yet, right? You haven't slept together, but your marriage is an issue, right? And her marriage is an issue, for example. And that's the truth. But you wouldn't care about it because all you're gonna focus on it is that this moment, the pleasure of it, it's worth it. And it doesn't have to be about that example, it could be about a job you're doing. You may know that this job ain't gonna lead you anywhere, right? Or this skill ain't gonna lead you anywhere and whatnot. But the moment itself is gonna worth it. Or another thing, because I am rewatching, by the way, MD House, and I have a really, really good time doing it. And what he does, it's he makes people miserable, and he feels good about it. Yeah, afterwards, he doesn't kind of like, he ends up being always alone as a result of his kind of like narcissistic behavior. But he doesn't care about that. He knows that he's gonna end up alone, but he doesn't care about that because for him the moment worth it. So bottom line, Taco, it is that next few days, mate, you're gonna have a really, really good time. Maybe on an expense of something in the future, who knows? Maybe that expense is gonna be good for you as well, okay? But according to the cards, you should indulge yourself. That is what you need to know. It's a kind of bizarre one. All right, next, Liz. Liz, let me turn over these cards. Are you looking for some kind of let's say change? Let's say changing house, for example, domain in general. Are you looking for something like that? These are your cards, by the way. Or for example, to sell a property, something like this. I just need to know, so I know how to interpret those cards, in what direction to interpret those cards. Yes, Okay. Well, you will solve the conundrum on your own. I mean, you're gonna have your way. I don't know how to put it into words, but for example, you will find the home you want to purchase, for example, or if you have found a home but you don't know how to go about it with the mortgage, if it is a mortgage, you know, or how to convince the seller about certain conditions, it's just you will solve whatever is stopping you of making that change on your own. You are not gonna even if you are using the services of particular agencies, still the answer is gonna come from you. And according to these cards, even if there is a risk about it, very minimal, right? Extremely minimal risk. So that is what you need to know, Liz. Mattia, long time no see. Welcome to the stream, and thank you, by the way. I assume that these are yours. Yeah, thank you for the $20 US, Mattia. Thank you. You're gonna have your personalized reading in a few minutes. Yeah, Liz. I mean, it's all that is gonna be left for you is to act upon whatever way you come up with. All right, next, Jasmine. Good night, Liz. Jasmine, are you sitting in front of some kind of a big job? A job that is going to bring a lot of cash for you? Like a big client that's you're trying to sign up, or kind of like a new position if you're not owning your business, something like this that kind of like is going to bring a lot of cash flow to you. Is there something like that that you're going through? These are your cards, by the way. I need to know, likewise with Liz, so I know in what... No, you don't. All right. Well, no wonder. You're about to. So those are your cards, and they reflect recent standings. What I mean is that you may have been asked to, or tried to be beguiled into, to kind of like, how can I put it into words? Let's say that way, change your concepts, and as well say ways. And according to them as well, you have withstand that. And the result of it, or what you need to know first, it is that you did the right thing doing so, holding on your own, holding your own, or rather like standing for your principles and for your standards. And this is what's gonna bring the cash flow. I don't know, but these cards, they speak about money. And I don't know how exactly that is gonna manifest, but they speak for a new avenue of a revenue, right? I don't know if it's gonna be a one-time thing, or a concurrent kind of like a concurrent event, but they do speak about money, and it's not gonna be a small amount as well. I don't know how large it's gonna be, but definitely it's gonna be something, something significant. Uh, and it's just, yeah. I mean, what you need to know is that in that department, for as much as money goes, you are moving in more than the right direction. Okay, just more than the right direction. But yeah, I mean, you can expect very, very soon a new streams of revenue that are gonna find you if they haven't already. That's why I asked you. Is there is something big that it's about money? It could be that, for example, and that you may not know it, but maybe you are kind of like considered for a raise. Or if you do have your own business, your client right now maybe, or one of your clients may be very impressed by your job, that they are considering to give you more work and therefore more money flowing with that. But definitely it's about money, and it's about being very successful with it. All right. Now the cherry of the cake. I'm very interested about that question. Yadabi, what do I need to know about the man I'm really into? You're welcome, Taco. Personally, I'm not very pleased with it because I couldn't tell you anything concrete. It is just, I'm sorry about that, man, but it's just what the cards showed. Uh, it's very unlikely, Jasmine, that these cards are referring to it. But if that's the case, this is the if they are referring to that deposit, then that would be one of the best investments you have made thus far, and maybe in your life. But still, I firmly believe that they are talking about acquisition rather than expenditure. I don't tap in, the cards do. What I do is interpret them. I don't have any special abilities, Yalabi. Yep. Uh, the worst that can be with those cards, being bisexual. I mean, the worst. I cannot say that that is the case, but what they say and what you need to know, it is that this man is open for everything when it comes to relationship, sex, and making love in general. Literally, that man has no boundaries whatsoever. Okay? Whatever fantasy, he is willing to explore it. Whatever, you know, the society kind of like presents, again, willing to explore it. But also something for his character is showing up here within the tarot, and that is that within him, he is a he's a very fragile soul, for lack of better expression. What I mean is that on the surface, you say something or you deny him and all that, and he says, no, it's fine, you know, we're okay, nothing big is happening, but it's big. I mean, you criticize, that's big for him, and you may shut him off, right? You may even shun him off for it. So you gotta be very careful what you say and how you say it. Even if you do have a critic about them, of course, you don't have to kind of like keep your critic in a silent treatment, but don't be rude, all right? Don't be cruel, don't be reckless, don't be ruthless with what you do and how you say things to him. But yeah, very possible that he could be bipolar. And not bipolar, but bisexual, I'm sorry. Very possible. So that is something you need to know. All right, next, Rocky. Well, it was a lapsus, all right? I didn't meant it. I meant to say bisexual, not bipolar. Tarot doesn't diagnose health conditions, so don't take me for my word on that. You're welcome. Yeah, Rocky, this is coming up for a second time. I don't know when it was the first one, but according to these cards, these are the cards. According to them, there is someone in your work that is really into you. Okay, really into you. And I think that they're going to make a move. That is something you need to know. And probably they're going to fuck up with that move. I mean, within you, you will feel very good. Okay. Having someone being attracted to you in a certain way. It's just the way that they will do it, probably through some kind of a present right? For example, they will gift you flowers or a chocolate, whatever the case. I'm not into presents, so you know, sue me for it. But it's kind of gonna make you feel very awkward, and I think that they're gonna blow most of their chances if they do have any chances. Uh, I don't know what to advise you here, to be honest. Okay, because looking at these cards, for as long as you work together, if you do decide to give it a go, that is, for as long as you work together, that's always going to be an issue. Always going to be an issue. It is just is gonna suck all of the fun and the emotional content from both of you. All right. But yeah, I mean, what do you need to know? It is that about your job. It is that someone in your job is really into you. But if you do want to know particularly about the job, what do you need to know? Is that the next few days, you will kind of like have to deal with very pleasant tasks. And if you are feeling, or for example, you are concerned, is your job space threatened? You are not quite there yet. I mean, at least for now, your job is sound and safe. No. It's definitely romantic. They're definitely romantic intentions. And you know, last time I checked, being married doesn't stop you, right? Just being married doesn't stop you. All right, next, Fatia. In fact, some people, doesn't matter are they women or men, they feel the thrill of it. I mean, from cheating, having an affair, it's not the same having a girlfriend or a boyfriend. It's just they have to have an affair. Yeah, I will appreciate that. You're welcome. Alright, these are the cards we have. Um, what I lean to really is that you are gonna have some kind of a proposal, more like a delay of it, delay of a proposal to work with someone or for someone. It should involve as well some kind of a trip. And when I say trip, I mean a distance, a long distance. It could be a different city or a different state that you gotta go to. Um, and the reason why you know, you alone will delay that cooperation, you know, whether it's going to happen or not depends on you. Although you are not going to be able to escape from a sort of cooperations, because according to these cards, sooner or later you will end up manifested in one of these. But the reason why you will wish to delay the whole thing, at least for now, it is just because of some of the conditions are not gonna make much sense for you, at least not for now. The reason being is that they're going to be way too good to be true. For example, that person will want to, let's say, invest in your business out of the blue. And when I say invest, I mean a lot of investments. And you will be baffled, you know, well, why? Well, what you need to know it is that this isn't charity. I mean, they do have definitely some how can I put it into words? It's not even a benefit, it's more like incentive, right? But the thing is that whatever they are gaining from all that does not take away from you as well. So ultimately, that is going to be a really good cooperation. That is what you need to know. It is that if you are invited for a cooperation, it's a genuine invitation. It's a genuine proposal, not meant to deprive you of anything. Okay? And if you do need to take your time, by all means, right? Just don't make how can I put it into words? Just don't make the conditions iron tight, for a lack of better expression. You know, leave these conditions, whatever you are willing to work under as a stipulations. Time to wriggle about, time to not time, but a space to be negotiated. So eventually you both can reach a common ground. So yeah, that is what you need to know, Mattia. It is that some kind of a really good business opportunity is coming your way. Hopefully you do not miss it. Well, you can't really. I mean, you can miss this one, but it is gonna haunt you, that business opportunity, until you at some point decide to take it. Hell, it could be a proposal to sell your business to someone. Who knows? All right. And last but not least, News Devon. Those are cards. The High Priestess with the Two of Wands. And what I am about to say to you probably is gonna sound very strange. But according to these cards, things are the way they are supposed to, although you may not seem about it. Now, having the Two of Wands next to the High Priestess, that is a feel that it can be better and it can be more. For example, in your work, you may feel that you can handle more, or, you know, whatever deal you have struck or you're working on, it could be better, and all these things. No, they can't, at least not for now. So that is one thing that you need to know, right? That things are as normal and as good as they can be, and therefore the second thing, just gotta take what you can get right now. Okay. But the third thing, it is that if you don't do anything to jeopardize your position, like taking risk, for example, because Two of Wands under that elemental dignity, which is a passive enemies, it's prone to taking a lot of risks in order to get a little gains. That is like having a diminishing returns, right? You invest a lot of efforts and you take a tiny gains that ultimately they are irrelevant. They don't matter at all for the, how can I put it into words, for the ultimate development, for the ultimate unfoldment. So it's time for the next few days just to do what you have been asked, to do what it is required, nothing less, nothing more. And if you do so, your positions, whether position in your love life, whether position in your job, right, everywhere, sound and safe, because no one is going to find a reason to let go of you or to abandon you. It was a pleasure having you around as well, Mattia. It was a long time we didn't see, but I know that you are very, very busy. Last time we spoke, you do have a lot of things on your plate. I hope that everything is going well, not just only with you, but also with every one of you guys that have been tonight on the live stream. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you so much for your generosity, and we are going to see each other next time. Until then, bye.